All set? Okay. Best practices. Give yourself lots of time. All right. I wish I could whisper. I can be loud if you need me to.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry for the delay that we had. Our lunch meeting ran a little bit late, so thanks for being patient, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for our session today about Google Plus and Google Hangout. Today we want to tell you a little bit about why Google Plus and Hangouts are a good communication tool to use during your international student recruitment process and strategy. So, I'm Victoria Truppi, and I'm the marketing specialist with Envisage International, exhibiting here in the conference. So stop by and see me if you want to. Envisage International is an online marketing company that is focused primarily on international students. And so what we do is drive prospective students to interesting content, content that is resourceful for them throughout their process of choosing a school in the United States and throughout that recruitment process on the school's end too. So our biggest focus with everything we do is creating content that people want to see and read online primarily. Our flagship site is internationalstudent.com. You guys may have heard of it. And that's where we bring those prospective students together with schools that accept international students in the United States. And so that's our main online vehicle that we use to drive those students to U.S. colleges that fit their needs and that are looking for them. So that's generally what we do. And the big part of generating content is getting people to listen to you. And it's really about communicating with people that want to read it and getting that information to those people. We do that through a lot of different ways. I mentioned our major website, internationalstudent.com. We also have a larger network of websites. Some are, giving information about international student insurance for students coming in to the U.S. Some are financial aid type resources. IESA.org is one of ours. Internationalstudentloan.com is one of ours. Internationalscholarships.com is one of ours as well. So we have a large network of online resources that students can use and schools can use to find prospective students. So it's a large network, and the way that we generate that content and get it to people goes way beyond just the website. We use social media every single day. We use Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, of course, which we'll be elaborating on today a little bit. And that's really why we're here, to tell you a little bit about how we use that Google Plus portion as a social media tool. It's not the only thing you'll want to use. You'll want to use it as a tool with your other Facebooks and Twitters, but it serves a different purpose. So that's what we're going to go into a little bit today. And my colleague here, Alita Anthony from SUNY Brockport, I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself as well.
Little cord here. Hi, everyone. My name is Alita Anthony. I'm the Associate Director for International Recruitment at SUNY Brockport, which is just outside of Rochester. I've been in the area of higher ed and admissions for a little under 10 years, and at Brockport for about 4 years, specifically in international. Brockport in the past has had a fairly passive recruitment plan for international, and within the last 4 years or so, we've really gotten aggressive, had a strategic plan, had our support from higher administration in that, and gone into international recruitment. And so part of that is, of course, social media and looking at new and different ways that we can get the name of Brockport out to our international students and inform them about our programs and other things. So you can see the social interaction right now, live. And so this has been a great opportunity for us, and using the Google Plus and Google Hangout. Brockport, when I was starting there, we had roughly about 35 international students and have been able to grow to a little over 200. So It's been a great opportunity, and we definitely see the value in the social media, how social media is used in so many different countries and differently. And of course, we can't be everywhere all at once, and so time zones can be an issue, of course. And so Google Hangouts is a great way to combat that, whether you're doing your Hangout at a specific time to hit a certain region, but then you've also got it to go back to, so someone from all over the world can access it. So we'll give you some more details about how you actually do that, so you feel more comfortable when you go back to your campus and feel like if you want to give it a try.
Thanks so much, and sorry about that. The whole point of this entire session is to show you how to do a Hangout, and the fun thing is that we're actually doing a live Hangout right now. So hence the camera that's taking over, the entire front of the room right now, and the messages that we're seeing popping up. They want to make sure that my microphone is working. So we're double checking all this stuff all the time, and hopefully everything will be in working order. But if it pops up again, just let me know if there's any technical difficulties. So let's get an idea of the audience, and how many of you have a Google Plus page? Okay, a few hands, that's good. Can you guys tell me an example of what you use your Google Play page for, personal or work? A lot of personal. Okay, a lot of people have a Gmail account, right? So that's good. And how many of you have participated in a Hangout before? Okay, so a few. So are those for like one-on-one conversations, like video calls, or do you use them like on your Hangouts to talk with a group of people? Conference calls. Perfect. So a little bit of everything. So you can all raise your hands now because you're all a part of a Hangout right now. So, and we'll tell you a little bit more about how to do it once we get into it. So feel free to ask questions at any time. We really want to keep it casual, more of a discussion than a presentation. So that's why we don't have any slides prepared or a real thing. We just want to show you how to do it on your own. So we're going to show you the actual screen shares of using Google Plus and setting up a Hangout. Then we'll show you a little bit about how we use it and what we've done. We have a case study with SUNY Brockport where we performed a Hangout with her remotely and invited hundreds of students to participate in order for her to increase the number of inquiries and then help them along their recruitment path. So we'll get into all of that as we go along. Then we'll teach you some lessons learned and best practices that we've learned by doing these over and over. We just started doing these at the beginning of the summer, so it keeps getting better. And we learn something new every time. So we'll go over those, and then we'll have a quick Q&A session at the very end as well. If any of our remote audience would like to ask a question, you can do so by clicking in the right-hand corner of your screen. There is an application toolbar, and you can click on Q&A, send your questions to us, and we'll answer questions from the live audience and the remote audience as well. So, but like I said, keep it casual. If you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and do it during the presentation as well. So let me go ahead and get started. What is Google Plus? Google Plus is a social media tool, but Google Plus is Google, and Google is search. So as you all may know, Google has about 88% of the world market share in complete search traffic. So if you think about that, Google's at 88%, and so Yahoo and Bing are sharing the remaining 18% with other competitors. So it's a very, very large monopoly on the world market. So Google is really where you want to be when you're trying to generate and communicate and spread searchable content. That's where you want to be. So we've all experienced that, with SEO, with all of our websites. We're constantly trying to be searchable on Google. So, and that's really the point. And so when Google came out with Google Plus as a social media aspect of Google, they were trying to compete directly with Facebook and with Twitter. As of now, Google Plus is the second largest social media avenue that there is. It overtook Twitter last year, but it's still a little bit far away from Facebook. And so what Google has actually done, and there's been a lot of speculation about this, with their senior vice president, Vic Vendortra, I think that's how you pronounce it, he quit the project, he resigned and left the company due to family reasons, but he's still the creator of the Google Plus portion of it. So there was a lot of speculation. They said, are they going to kill Google Plus? Is it not going to be available as a social tool anymore? And we've discovered that that's simply not true. What's actually happening is Google Plus is taking maybe a different direction. Instead of overtaking Facebook, they're becoming a different type of social media tool. So what they're doing is moving more into the business sector. So companies like us and school brand names can have business pages, share content with colleagues in a professional way. Students can come to put on their professional hats and share content that might not be puppies and kittens like on Facebook or smiling babies, but it's intriguing professional content from a business perspective. So that's really the angle that they've taken, and it seems to be doing very well. I mean, being the #2 social media tool is, a good thing to talk about in the world of internet. So they've taken that. It does seem to be a more professional tool to use than Facebook, even though Facebook is still valuable for reaching students in some ways. But the exposure on Google Plus seems to be better in reaching industry exposure. And so that's really what we're looking for when we are trying to communicate and send our content to the international student market. And this goes for all of the different aspects of the recruitment enrollment funnel. So that's what we'll talk about a little bit more. There are currently 300 million active users on Google Plus, and there's about 540 million members that actually have an account. What they started doing is as soon as you had a Gmail account, you automatically were given a Google Plus account. So a lot of you, if you have a Gmail and you don't know you have an account, you probably have a Google Plus account if it's not active. So it's more around 300 million that actually use the profile and grow. Now, when we talk about Google, we talked about search and that being super, super important. But Google is integrated with almost everything we do. And if you use Gmail on a regular basis, you know that everything you do when you use your calendar is integrated directly with your email. If you have an Android, you know your mobile device is giving you updates and using your calendar and your other apps to tell you what's going on so you can run your everyday lives. It's connected with your documents, your Drive, your Google Drive. Everything is all integrated. And that integration is what makes Google Plus special. It's not only a social media tool, but it's a true communications tool. So anyone have any questions about Google Plus so far before we get into the nitty-gritty? Awesome. So how do we use Google Plus? So Alita's going to go ahead and show you the Google Plus page we've made for internationalstudent.com. So this is really a student-facing Google Plus page. And we use this page to share all sorts of interesting content that we've created that we can share with a huge population of international students. Some examples you'll see here. The Study Abroad Resource Center, some future Hangouts that we're holding, ways to ensure you get a job after you graduate. Some partner schools on here in Mississippi State. Here's a post about SUNY Brockport because we work with them directly. They are on our social media channels often for our international students. This one in particular, if you're looking for a school in New York, it's a great sports right. SUNY Brockport has 23 varsity sports, so view their profile. So we're pushing our international students to their school profile and thus generating inquiries for them. So this is just an example of a post. It's similar to Facebook. If you haven't used it before, you can plus a post. If you like it, it's similar to liking something on Facebook. You can share it. with your Google Plus network, and you can comment. So it's very similar if you've done any type of social media in the past. Very similar capability. And what's very cool is that posts on Google Plus, unlike Facebook, are searchable. You can actually search for keywords in this post, for example, in Google, and these posts can be found that way. That makes it a little bit more special than a regular Facebook post that just gets buried in the comments forever. So that's some examples of the posts and the page itself. We update this 2 or 3 times a day. We have a full-time social media person so they keep up on it regularly. So it's a really good example of a good page. Now, the thing that Google Plus really got right was the ability to segment your friends or your followers so that you're only sharing certain content with certain people. You know, on Facebook, sometimes, you know, you say you're posting, say you're going to have a Halloween party next weekend, maybe you don't want, you know, some professional colleagues to see it or something. My boss is watching remotely anyway, so she won't get mad at me. So maybe go to my Halloween party. But, you know, if you don't want people to see it, then you have to go through hoops to make sure that your privacy are set, that, you know, it can be kind of difficult on Facebook. And what Google Plus has done is given the ability to create circles for all of your followers. So this is just an example of some circles that we created for the IS account. This is an example of the Envisage International Circle. So this is all of my colleagues. So if I wanted to share something from this page with my colleagues, for example, if it has something to do with our industry, I could share it directly to that circle only. Another example is the MSU Hangout circle. So we did an online on-air hangout, which we'll talk about later, with Mississippi State University. And so all of the students that attended that hangout, we were able to put them into a circle to continue marketing to them after the actual event. So this keeps people on your radar. You know, when you're talking about the enrollment funnel and pushing people through there, you know, where do they fall out of that funnel? This is a good way to be able to continue marketing and continue sending them the correct messages at the correct time. Is there a question?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned before that all the content, even if you have a small group of followers, whatever you post that it's available to anyone or how does it work?
No. You have the ability to post publicly or privately.
Okay.
So, of course, if you're writing your own article and you're, you know, submitting it via social media channels, that's something you want to search for.
Right.
But it's a great question. Something that's personal that you post only to certain circles or to certain people would not be searchable. Good question. Any other questions? Oh, there we go.
How integrated is Google Plus? In other words, in Facebook, it will pull from Twitter and your blog and that kind of stuff. But LinkedIn has turned off some of the feeds from Twitter and it'll pull from the WordPress. So for Google Plus, will it pull from Twitter? And I suppose it would be heresy to pull anything from Facebook. But or simply will whatever you put in Google Plus show up in Google Plus and nothing else?
Well, it's really up to you. A lot of those programs, you know, like Sprout Social, Hootsuite, some of those integrating softwares allow you to bring in together whatever social media avenues you're using, including blogs. So Google Plus is an option when it comes to that. You can use those tools and include your Google Plus, your Facebook, your Twitter, and your blog, and post all of them on all of those avenues using their own software. So yes, that does work. As far as showing your Facebook, that's how you would do it. I don't know of a way to specifically pull Facebook and Twitter in through this interface alone. I think it's separate software, but you can do it. Yes. We do it usually throughout social, those types of things. So that's an example of how we use circles. And does anyone have any ideas before we start talking about the Hangouts themselves? how you would use the circles to communicate throughout the enrollment funnel. For example, if you had a circle full of prospective students that hadn't yet turned in an application, what are some fun ways that you could communicate with them just to that circle to get them more interested, to get them to take the next step? Well, the information that they give to us when we put people in the circle is just the email address. And then for us to be able to see someone's profile, they have to follow us as well. So it's a give take. With the CRMs, I don't know of a specific, again, a separate software that would integrate it, but it could be built. We have a tech team back home that would be able to build some type of, coding that exactly. Yeah, I mean that's how you would do it on a one by one, I guess, into a spreadsheet and then into your CRM, but it could be used that way.
I know in my office that silver emails will publish on Google Plus and Facebook, but that's about the only level of information.
Yeah, that's as much as I know.
So, many of the students email addresses are not Google email addresses. You have to sign up then for an email account.
They don't. And they actually just changed it. You do have to have some sort of Gmail account to have a Google Plus page, but any email address can go and Hangout now. So they recently made that change. So that's a good one.
Is it blocked in China, like?
Yes, unfortunately, Hangouts are not available in China or Vietnam right now, the only two countries. But yeah, we'll get into those details a little bit later too.
I think that you're going to cover it, but we some strategy actually built the policy.
To build the Google Plus page?
Not the page, but the number of followers. But then, Plus was not all kind of cool, but in the end, the relationship with followers.
Mm-hmm. So for our remote audience, I'll repeat the question. She's wondering if we can give a little bit more information about how to build your follower base using Google Plus. And really, there's a lot of different ways. Really, it's having engaging content, and it's the same as any other social media strategy would be. This is just a part of it. So the more engaging your content, the faster people are going to follow you. We're going to talk about Hangouts specifically in a second. Hangouts have been the way that we have been able to grow our follower base very, very quickly. It has a lot to do with outbound marketing. As soon as kids are engaged on that site, they're more likely to follow you and keep following you and keep engaging with your content. So one more. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show how to even create a Hangout.
Good segue.
Sure. So yes, we're going to show you how to set up a Hangout in just a second. So, sound good? Okay. So we'll go ahead and move on to that part of the session. Now, there's actually two types of Hangouts. One is just a regular Hangout, and it's similar to Skype or to a video call that you can use on your iPhone or something like that. Just a one-on-one conversation. It can be up to 10 people, really. So that's a regular Hangout. What we're focusing on today is an on-air Hangout. An on-air Hangout has unlimited people. You can have more than one presenter if you like, and you can invite anyone to you as an audience member. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. The Hangouts on air are similar to like a GoToMeeting or WebEx or something that you might be using already. Similar to that, but it's a free option. That's why we actually started using it, and we discovered that there's so much more than that. So how do we use Hangouts? We use Hangouts, and this is similar to the question that she asked. We use Hangouts to create pick content that keeps students coming back, that has longevity, that lives for a long time. So when you have an on-air hangout, rather, it lives on your Google Plus page. It's searchable in Google, and it automatically goes to your YouTube page as well. So it's available for public view. As long as it's a public hangout, you can of course make it private, but it goes to your YouTube page too. So it lives there forever. So students that want to watch or get information later on still have that video on their YouTube page for later. So it has longevity more than a video call would, for example. So that's one of the major reasons that we use it. And we use the circles often to reach the right people at the right time. And that's why we found Google Plus and the Hangouts to be especially useful at this point. So I'll go ahead and show you how to create one. Left menu, called Hangout, and then click a blue button to start the online hangout. Pretty simple once you're in your Google Plus page. Then you give the hangout a name, just for example, NAFSA, and then give it an interesting description. In mind, the description is going to be searchable, so give it a good description. We want to draw to it. And write, which is usually what we do because we do a lot of marketing effort into it. Once we set the time, we market the link to students to get them to attend. And then you choose your audience here. So like I said, you can choose a public audience, which is available for the entire internet if you want, or you can get that out of there. You can do it in all of your circles. That's the first option to see. Or you can choose one circle or many circles. So for example, if you wanted to follow up from the State University Hangout, we could send, we could schedule a new hangout for a follow-up to what we previously done. We could say we're going to do a tutorial on how to complete the application, for example, for those students that hadn't attended the previous one. So that would be a good example of a hangout that we would use specifically for that circle.
What if you don't have a circle? What if your name is you don't have a circle?
That's okay. So what you could do, you could do a public one in order to gain more followers, right? Or, if you have friends that are on Gmail, you can go to their pages and follow them to create a bigger user base. It really depends on your market, but you find those, try to get them to follow you, and then build your service from there. You can add individual people. You can just put in their email address if you want to invite them. So it doesn't have to be a circle, it's just a useful thing.
Now, can you create a circle from Excel sheet or Salesforce or something else you might have?
Not at this time. You have to actually be in Google Plus and following them. An example is just like your Facebook friends. You're not going to be able to solicit multiple friends and be able to reach them unless they want to send it to you.
You could import it into Google spreadsheet and then export it.
Not that I'm aware of, but that would be a great use of integration. And I agree that would be the next step for them.
You can't force somebody into a circle.
Right.
If you just use the audience as like an MSU hangout, then will it be searchable later, or is that like a private thing?
That's private because it doesn't say public. It's private circle only to those participants that are in that circle already. So they'll see it on their Google Plus page, on their feed, and then they're invited that way.
But I guess what you were saying is that there's hangouts are searchable forever, but not if it's just
Right, a public hangout.
Sorry.
Only public. Yeah. If it's private, specifically to those people.
I noticed when I'm in my email account, that add circle sometimes off the right.
Yeah, it is. You can do it right from your Gmail account too. Often it'll say, would you like to add this person? And you can do it right from your Gmail. Exactly.
Now, if you were doing earlier, she's going to Google Plus versus
When we're doing what, which part?
As far as when you're doing your circles and networking, just on your email and go from that circle, or?
That would be a good way to start, yeah. To put the contacts you already have into circles and then market to them.
Or if you go into Google Plus, is it integrated where if I'm creating circles in my email?
Yes, yes, it's the same true account. Okay. It really is.
I think usually when you're in your Gmail, I think it's over on the right. It's actually a plus sign, and if you click on that, it'll bring you to all your Google Plus circles and them. There's more.
If you're just doing the public then, your brand new, how are they finding the Hangout then? Via Google search?
They would see it on their Google Plus page or in their email. You can send when you invite people, they receive a notification and an email as well.
Just be public, they start right now. Even in their Google Plus, that will pop up.
Well, and that's a good question. Really, it depends on. It has a lot to do with SEO and searchability and authority. I'm not sure how familiar you all are with SEO, but your Google Plus page builds authority for your business. So the more followers you have, the more content you create and share, and the more high esteem Google holds you as a business, makes you more searchable as well. So really, the best way, if you're marketing to the public, some people that are interested in your field of study, your industry, for example, might see it on their page as a public post. What you would do usually is post to your Facebook page, and then you would maybe email it to groups that might be interested, or get it out in other ways first. The circles are used, after you have that contact captured. Does that make sense?
To generate reminders, that you just have one message saying that there's a hangout, whatever.
Yeah, so you would receive a reminder email the day of the hangout, because as soon as you RSVP to this hangout as an audience member, it goes onto your Google Calendar. So your Google Calendar is going to remind you, and you receive an email. So that tells you a little bit about how to set up a hangout. Let me see where I am. I'll go ahead and let Alita tell you a little bit about how her school uses Google Plus and Hangouts.
Switch spots here. So I mentioned before, we are trying to look at all sorts of different avenues, and you can't be everywhere around the world all the time. And our institution in general has just started using Google Plus. So SUNY Brockport does have a general Google Plus page where they're just posting current events, whether there's been athletic team wins, homecoming, and different things like that, different photos from different events during each week, or if we've had a big event one day, there'll be a whole highlight on that. And so what we were wanting to do is to try to see how we could get a piece of that. So we don't yet have a Google Plus page specifically for international recruitment, but we did decide to try and do a Google Hangout. And so we were able to, I know a lot of people were talking about how to get people to it. And so using the leads from our CRM or other Excel sheets, however you might be capturing all of those prospective student leads, is use those email addresses to then do like email blasts and promote that we were going to be doing this hangout to then get them to come in and join it. And so we gave little teasers of what we would be talking about. And we chose to do, so we had a professional staff member, myself, that did the hangout, and then we also brought in one of our current international students from China. And so the thought there was, of course, to give that student perspective. Most of us would agree that when we're out on the road, we can talk as much as we like, but when they get to hear information from students, that can also resonate a lot more. And so we also were hoping that we could also utilize our students' language skills or bilingual language skills as well, so that students, if they're not quite fluent yet in English, or they're just hesitant to try to ask a question or even type a question in English, we could do that in another language and have our students be able to help. This specific example that you see, we actually didn't get any questions in Chinese, but maybe next time. So I think we're going to show a clip here from ours.
Hi everybody, and thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be joined by Alita Anthony and Yang Yen Dong from the State University of New York at Brockport. They're going to be telling you a little bit about why Brockport is a great place for international students. Also, how to enroll as well. You'll also have your chance to ask your questions, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation too. If you'd like, you can ask your questions now or during the presentation just by clicking on the upper right-hand corner in the applications icon. You'll see an option for Q&A. When you click that, a right sidebar will show up on your screen, and you can submit your questions that way. Now, keep in mind that Yang is from China, so she's a fluent Chinese speaker. So if you prefer to ask your questions in Chinese.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Google Hangout. I'm here to tell you more about the State University of New York, Brockport, or as its nickname is called, SUNY Brockport. Those of you who might not be familiar with the State University of New York, it is often referred to as SUNY, with many different campuses across the state of New York. We actually have 64 total campuses across the state of New York, with different types of universities, colleges, and technical schools. So the Brockport campus is one of the comprehensive universities offering both bachelor's and master's degrees. So moving on to the application process, it's a fairly easy process that our office will help guide you through from beginning to end. For freshmen or students who are applying straight from high school, we're looking for the equivalent of a 3.0 GPA or 85%, official transcripts from your high school, a TOEFL or IELTS score. You need a minimum TOEFL of 76 for undergraduate or a 6 for the IELTS, and then also a personal essay that you write, a letter of recommendation, and the online application, and the application fee of $50. For students who may not have the English requirement yet, we have a great option for those students and can offer conditional admission. So if you meet all of the academic requirements but just haven't met the English requirements yet, you can receive conditional admission to the university and our English language school through ELS, English Language Services. So one important area that I know students are interested in are scholarships. So Brockport is able to offer different levels of scholarships for both first-year students or freshmen and also transfer students. So at this time, I'd actually like to turn it over to Yen, who will be answering questions but also telling you a little bit about what it's like to actually be an international student at SUNY Brockport.
Thank you to Alita. Hi, this is Yan. I'm a transfer student from China, and this is my second semester at the Brockport. And my majors are computer science and computer information system. And today I would like to share my own reason why I chose SUNY Brockport and why our school is your best option.
So we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have at this time, or if you'd like to submit any questions offline directly to us. You can also communicate with us on Facebook at SUNY, S-U-N-Y, at International Student Admissions, and then we also have Skype, Instagram, and do you want to talk a little bit about internship?
Well, internship and I think you only can do your internship after you graduate.
Okay, and unless your internship is part of your academic program, if it's required, then we can help you with internships while you're a student. Questions? It looks thank you.
Thanks so much to Alita and for Yang for joining us today and teaching us a little bit about SUNY Brockport and why it's a great place for international students. And thanks to our audience for joining us today as well. We had a lot of great questions, and we hope you got all of your answers. If we didn't get to your question today, or if you have more questions, go ahead and click on the applications icon in the top right-hand corner and choose Showcase. There you'll see a link to the school profile where you can fill out the form and send your information directly to Alita. And Alita can contact you within about 24 hours to answer any more questions you have or to let you know how to apply. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.